All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and welcome to day 3. In day 1, we went over a lot of the things in this W3 Schools HTML tutorial. Now, we didn't go over everything, but we went through a lot of that material. Then in day 2, we went over, again, a lot of the material in the CSS tutorial. Well, it's day 3, and we're going to talk JavaScript. And they say there that JavaScript is the world's most popular programming language. It's the programming language of the web. It's easy to learn, and this tutorial will teach you what you need to know. So again, I'm going to talk about a lot of JavaScript in here today. That's what today is about. So I'm going to I'm in my day 3. Let's see, where am I here? Oh, somehow I lost this. But I want to bring up my Visual Studio Code. You've seen this before. I'm going to close what I've been working on. I can save it. It really doesn't matter one way or the other. But I'm going to close up everything from day 2, and I'm going to open up day 3. First thing I'm going to do in day 3 is create a new file in here, our old index.html file. All right. And before I go and populate that, I'm going to do a couple of other things. I'm going to right mouse click on here, and I'm going to do a new folder. Let's make a CSS folder. Let's make an images folder. No idea if I'm going to use either one of these, but let's also make what I will use for sure, and that is a JS for JavaScript folder. All right, so I've got all that. Now in my index file, we'll start with our old reliable exclamation point tab, and now we've got this. Okay, and this will be called JavaScript Fun. All right, and the first thing to understand is much like what we went through with CSS, you can add JavaScript in different ways. So in other words, I can come up here, and up at the top of my program, I can come in and I can say, you use a script tag, so I can say script source equals JS slash, there's nothing there yet, but I'm just going to quick make up a file. We'll call it script.js. And then we end with another script tag. Okay? Now I'm going to come into my JavaScript folder, and in here, I'm going to add a new file that we're going to call script.js. All right, and all I'm going to put in here is alert hello. That's it, just that. Don't worry about what it means, but what I want to show you is this. I'm going to go back to my index file, and there's nothing in here. Let's put in an h1 tag, and it says Day03 JavaScript. Okay. All right. So let's open this in Live Server. And notice what we get. It's not showing anything, but as soon as I answer this hello here, you're going to see, whatever we put in there about the Day 3 JavaScript. All right, but this is what the alert does. So there's Day 3 JavaScript. So that's one way that I can go and add JavaScript, putting it into a separate file like this. Totally fine, totally acceptable, done quite a bit. But if I want to, I can also come in. Let's take this file, and I'm going to comment this out. That's how I comment out a single line in JavaScript. And just to show you that it's gone, if I go back again into here, you'll notice that I don't have that alert box anymore. Okay? All right, but I can come back in here, and I can take that stuff and put it right in here. So I can say script. I don't need to have a file name because I'm going to put it right here. Alert hello from JavaScript. All right, and again, go to Live Server. There's my hello from JavaScript. And, well, what happened? I don't see my h1 tag in here. All right. And basically, let's see what happens when we move it down. There's my hello from JavaScript, and lo and behold, there it is. The problem is everything loaded, then my JavaScript ran, and then it waited to see what came after it, and nothing came after it. So this is another way that I can go and do this, okay? But yet another way I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to grab these two lines, and I kind of did just show this to you, but not really. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to bring back in source equals js/script.js, just like we had before. All right, I can leave a blank space, and here it doesn't matter at all. All right, but I'm going to save this, and now I've got it in line. I've got it right in my body. And notice when I come in here, wow, doesn't seem to be working. All right, right now the system is kind of confused, it appears at least. All right, so I want to show you, the reason it's not working is that was commented out. Let's uncomment it. And then let's go back here. There's our hello, and there's our Day03 JavaScript. All right. Now, one last thing I want to show you here in this part of the presentation. I'm going to leave that here, and I'm going to come back into here. All right. And the reason that I got hello twice is I had it up here, and I had it down here. All right. What I want to do is I want to remove the one that's down here. All right, like this. And notice that when I run it, I get the hello. All right, and it's like, again, where's my H1 tag? I want that H1 tag to come back, and I want to see if I can make it come back. So I'm going to say here script source equals JS JavaScript, but then I'm going to put the word defer afterwards. And I'll come back and explain that to you in just a minute what that means. Come back here. There's our hello. And lo and behold, look what's back. Now, what defer does, and this is more or less the recommended way of adding your JavaScript these days, and that is putting it in the head section. All right, putting in the script tag in the head section, adding an external JavaScript file, and when you add the external JavaScript file, put in the word defer. What that means is load the entire page and then basically run the JavaScript. So you're making sure that everything is indeed up and working before you do anything. Now, I just heard a ding here, which means I must have my mail up and running, and I do. So I'm going to close that so we're not bothered by that. Okay. All right, so that was pretty simple. That's not JavaScript. I mean, all I did was wrote hello in there. But it did show you a couple things. First of all, you saw that was a comment. So that's a single line comment. If I want a multi-line comment, so let's say I want to write a comment and I want it to say, this is my very first JavaScript program. Now I could just hit enter, put that in again and say, I hope you enjoy it very much. That's totally fine. But I can also start this like we did with CSS with a /* and I can end this with a */. All right, so a multi-line comment in JavaScript is the same way, the same type of way that you write comments in CSS. All right, okay. Now, one thing to realize is JavaScript is what is referred to as a case-sensitive language. What do I mean? Well, I want to make sure that I didn't break anything, so I'm going to do another file, save, and I'm going to come back here and see if I get my alert hello. So let's go back to here, and there it is. There's our alert hello. Let's refresh. Yep, working as it should. but I'm going to come back and try to purposely introduce an error into here. I'm purposely introducing an error by putting in the word alert with a capital A. All right, and I'm going to save. Now I'm going to go back to my program and I'm going to refresh, and nothing's happening. Well, how do I know there's an error? Well, what if I come in here and I right mouse click and I bring up my inspect tool? But now we've gone in and we've looked at styles and computed and maybe a little bit of layout, etc. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to grab console. And you'll notice it says alert with a capital A is not defined in line 4 of my script. So it's even showing me right where it is. So if I put an A back in there, notice my errors have all gone away. If I refresh, it's back because I've made that's the copy that I made that in. But if I put that A in there, it's letting me know that now it is correct. So again, I'd have to go back in, change this to a capital A, save it, bring this up again, and there's my hello. Let's close that, and there's my Day 3 JavaScript. So what I'm trying to get across to you, amongst other things, is JavaScript is a case-sensitive language. The majority of what you put into JavaScript will be all lowercase. That's a generalization, but it pretty much will hold true. All right, let's see. Let's take a look. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to say W3 schools, JavaScript, and I'm going to put in here reserved words. And there's like 40 or 50 of them, something like that. Here they are. I guess there's more than I thought there were, so let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Looks like 64. And some of them say words marked with an asterisk are new in ECMAScript 5 and 6. So export, extends, enum, super, await. All right. What they're saying is when you are going and creating your own stuff in JavaScript, you can't use these words. Well, what do I mean create your own stuff? What if I want to go and just say hello, instead of saying hello like we did, I want it to say, ask you your name and then say hello followed by your name. Again, I'm going to keep this really, really simple for right now. So what I want to do is instead of alert hello, I wanted to ask you your name. But I have to have some place to save your name. So I'm going to create what's called a variable. And I'm going to say let name equals, and I'm going to ask you to put in your name. So prompt, enter your name, please. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to say hello plus name. Now, we'll come back and take a look at this in just a second. I'm not sure why that's underlined, but it is. It says name is deprecated. The declaration was marked as deprecated here. Oh, that's interesting. No idea. If I put F name, is it going to say the same thing? Oh, it doesn't like the word name. Okay. Okay, let's say here, your name. We'll use that. Your name. How's that? All right. So now when I run the program, notice what happens. It comes up and it says, hello null. What? What the heck? Well, something went amiss here because it didn't ask me. So let your name equal prompt. Enter your name, please. It didn't run this, but it only ran this. Well, that's a little weird. All right. So what happened in here? Well, there's our script, so that looks like it worked. What if I take that and I put this, I'm going to comment it out. Now, there's two ways I can comment it out, and I'm showing you both right here. But I'm going to go and add this back. I'm going to go add this back where we had it in here before. So I don't even care about that script tag. That's all commented out. But I'm going to say script, and I'm going to put that back in here now. And let's see if that one worked. All right, so come back into here. Enter your name, please. Well, I'm not going to put anything in. It says hello followed by nothing. Well, what if I put in there 1, 2, 3? It says hello 1, 2, 3. All right. What if I put in my real name? Well, you can see that that worked. Now, I'm not trying to amaze, stupefy you, or anything else, but what I want you to realize is this right here is I'm declaring what's called a variable, and that variable is called your name. All right. Then I'm bringing up this thing. Before we used an alert, and an alert gives you information, a prompt asks you for information. So it was coming in here, it was asking me for my name. And whatever I put in to right here, it's saving it. And this equal sign doesn't mean equals, it means a sign. It says, hey, prompt the person for your name and assign the results to a variable called your name. Then give me an alert that says hello and a space, and then whatever I put in for your name. And again, purposely, I'm keeping this really, really simple, just for this first lecture, all right? We are 16 minutes in. I'm going to go about 20 minutes. But like I said, I'm going to try to keep it simple. What if we put in another variable here that says let your age equal prompt enter your age, please. So we've got enter your name, please, and enter your age, please. All right, I'm going to say hello with your name plus you are your age. Oops. Years old, like that. And I don't really need this over here, so let's move that. There we go. All right. Hopefully, if this works right, and I put in there Jeff, and I put in my age, it should say, hello, Jeff, you are 64 years old. So let's see if indeed that works. Run this again. Enter your name, please, Jeff. Enter your age, please, 64. Hello, Jeff, you are 64 years old. Well, it worked. All right, now, even though it worked, all right, what if I did this? Oops, let's see. So if I came in here and I'm going to put in here another alert. Next year, you will be, and I put in your age plus 1 plus years old. All right, so let's run it again. Oops, wrong one. So enter your name, please, Jeff. Enter your age, please, 64. Hello, Jeff, you are 64 years old. Next year, you will be 641 years old. Now, wait a minute, that didn't work. Why didn't that work? And the reason that that didn't work, is because what you put into a prompt statement like this is a string. It's characters. So even though I put in 64, it's not the number 64. It's the characters 6, 4 that have an arithmetic value of 0. So it just took and appended that 1 onto the 6, 4. So it became 6, 4, 1. Well, what if I don't want that? What if I want it to actually hold 64 and I want it to say this, but I want it to say 65. Then I have to let the system know to take the value that I put in there and parse it. Stick it into a number. In this case, a whole number, so I say parse int. Let's run this again. All right, so let's run this again. And now enter your name, please. Jeff. Enter your age, please. 64. Hello, Jeff. You are 64 years old. Next year, you will be 641 years old. It still doesn't like it. So, did I not save? What's the problem here? Well, your age, that should be right. What if I try putting this in parentheses? So your age, parse int, should be correct. Jeff, 64. Next year you will be 65. What if we went back to what we had before, and I'm not going to make this a parse int. I'll make that a prompt, and we'll do this the same way we did it before. But now the your age plus 1 is in parentheses. Let's see if that has any effect. So Jeff, 64. You are 64 years old. Next year, it's still wrong. All right. So all I tried to show you in this first lecture is very quickly, I showed you about 3 things. Number 1, I showed you 3 different ways that you can add JavaScript to an HTML file. All right. 1 was externally, 2 were externally, and 1 was internally. Next, I showed you the 2 ways of doing comments in a JavaScript file. 2 forward slashes for a single line comment, a slash star and ending with a star slash for a multi-line comment. I mentioned and I proved to you that JavaScript is a case-sensitive language. I quickly showed you the reserved words in JavaScript. I also quickly showed you using the console with JavaScript. When I come back in the next lecture, we're going to talk about the different types of these variables that you can create in JavaScript. All right, and I will be back with that in just a minute.